Hey everybody, it's me, Nat from Twiniversity. Thank you for joining us for our first Twin Ready Registry event. We are ready to get started here, and I want to start with a game. All right, so how many of you, pause up or thumbs up, or you could put it in the chat, how many of you have already had a baby shower, whether it was from your first child or your first children? I shouldn't assume that this is your first set of twins. You never know. But if you've celebrated at a baby shower before, or you've even had yours, throw it in the chat and be like, we already had our baby shower and we're using this event to kind of fill in the blanks. But, yes, so Monica already had her baby shower. That's really exciting. Okay, good. So we'll help you fill in some of the blanks. Now, the next thing that I want for you guys that are joining me live, I would love if you would pop open the chat, and I would love to say, how many weeks are you guys? So if you're expecting right now, we are 16 weeks pregnant and we're having boy twins, or we're having girl-boy twins, or we don't know. So you could do question marks. That's always the most fun to me. So pop that open, because you know that at Twiniversity, the whole goal here is, yes, we are focused on education, but we're really focused on community. So this is a way that you could find other people that are currently expecting at the same time that you guys are. Oh, I love it. Look, yay, a few 24-weekers, 17 weeks fraternal, boys, girls. So right now, take a look. Go into the chat right now and look to see where everybody is along their timeline, and feel free to message them privately and be like, hey, iPad, which is always funny when people don't change their name. Be like, hey, iPad, congratulations on your 14 weeks of your pregnancy. So it doesn't matter. Feel free to change your name, rename yourself is always nice. But I am going to dig in, and we are starting off with a game. Okay, so this is kind of never mind, we're starting off with this. These are the things that I want to make sure that you guys have. So have a dedicated piece of paper if you are somebody who's going to write stuff, or open up a new note on your phone so you could actively take notes during this, because I don't want you to be like, oh my God, what did Nat say? But of course you could always go back and watch it, but I want to make it as easy for you as possible. And of course, as a childbirth educator and a pregnancy person, make sure you have a whole freaking thing of water. I am celebrating with tea with my sister's picture all over it, because my sister buys us presents with her face on it every year. We don't know why, since she's, I don't know, had her first job. So I'm going to drink some Vivian Trixie tea. It's my sissy. So you have yours, and now here's our game. Okay, so mixed in this kind of jumble are things that I actually do. So if you do not know me, I am Natalie Diaz. I don't want to say what I do. I almost slipped out. But what are some of the little icons here that represent me or Twiniversity? And so Amanda is going to pick a random winner, and we're going to send you a little Starbucks gift card. And you're going to say, Nat, but I really shouldn't be having caffeine. And I'm going to say, boo, I don't know if you've been to Starbucks lately, but they don't have just caffeine. They have a lot of stuff. I recommend the lemon pound cake, one of my faves. See, Amanda's right into it. It's literally, but Amanda knows I'm obsessed with lemon, because she ships me almonds from Utah to New York City because they don't sell them here. So stupid we are, but we're wonderful at the same time. So what are some of these things here in this picture that tell you a little bit about me? So you could guess. And if you're like, Nat, I have no idea who the hell you are, nor do I really care, but feel free to just take a wild guess based on any of those images. Boo, doo, 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 doo. Boo, 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 boo. Amanda, do you like my graphics? Thank you. This is our first game. I think they did good. I had a hard time picking things that I wasn't, because I feel like I'm a Jill of all trades. I have to be honest with you. Can I repair a car? By the way, if anybody says car mechanic, I'm going to tell you that's a no on that one. So I'll give it, we'll wipe that off. That would be amazing though, if I actually could. I'm not afraid of it, but I did have to restart a battery once, and I almost had a nervous breakdown because I thought I was going to kill myself with electricity, although apparently that's pretty hard to do. But listen, if there's a way to break something, I'm your girl. I'm the one that could do it. Okay, so Amanda, pick us a random winner and announce it. And I am going to show you I did one of these things. So these are the things that represent me. Yes, I am a public speaker. Yes, I am an author. Yes, I am a huge, huge, huge parenting and a mom advocate. I am a child passenger safety technician, which is what the car seat is. I'm an educator, hence the little graduation hat. I am a certified lactation consultant currently on my road to IBCLC. Please, whoever you celebrate as your God, pray to them to make sure that I pass this test. I will find out next month. I am, of course, a mama of twins and a podcast host, and I'm sure that there are other things that I actually forgot to put in there. So this is what we are kind of talking about today. So, Jonna, congratulations. You are our winner. Yay, everybody. So, yeah, so just know this is a little bit about me. I definitely have quite a few credentials to teach this class, but most importantly, I really am a twin gear expert. I have been for years. So I think the first event of baby gear that I ever attended was maybe 2011. So since 2011, I've really been up to date with many, many, many twin products that are not only available within the United States, but around the world because people have kids outside of the US. So yeah, so we're going to kind of jump right in today. And I want to start off with the first thing of talking about a timeline because everybody's like, when do I need to get stuff done? Now, yes, of course, this is just a recommendation. There are no laws here at Twiniversity. The Twiniversity police is not going to come at you if you register for something at week 17. But generally, we find that it is helpful to kind of go in this timeline. And the reason why is that we find that people register way too early. And if you register way too early and somebody spots that on your registry, they may buy it for you before you really knew that that's the one product that you wanted. So in general, we find that at week 12, you should start your homework and figure out kind of, okay, what's the outline? What are the items that I'm going to need? And then start digging in. Then at week 18, you sign up for all of your registry accounts. So you could sign up for your Target registry, Amazon registry, Crate and Barrel, Pottery Barn Kids, whatever the heck you want, go for it. And we're going to talk about my registry today because we think that it's one of the things that you guys probably don't know about. Has anybody heard of my registry? So pause up or thumbs up or write it in the comments if you've heard about my registry. So there we go. So that's going to be our job. And I'm going to tell you why it's important for twin families to get kind of the most stuff. Okay. Then at week 19. So yes, it's later on down the line. But in week 19, it's when we want you to actually start building that registry. So the whole point is from week 12 to week 19, you finalize the products that you want and you don't add things to your registry willy-nilly. Because if you do, like I said, people could buy you swaddle blankets that you heard about. And now you're like, oh God, I know that there's better ones and I should have registered for those. We don't want you to have buyer's regret. So at week 19, you start building your registry. And at week 24, you announce it to the universe and you let everybody start grabbing you stuff. Okay. So the first thing that we want to tell you is that all of you have access to the Twin Ready Gear Guide. So Amanda put this together for you, and it is a very inclusive pack that I don't know how many pages it is. It's quite a few pages, but it gives you the lists of all the items you need. We do not tell you the specific company of what you need. So we're not going to be like, hey, for car seats, go look at Britax, because honestly, we really like to tell you the features that you need to look for instead of the brands. There are some brands that we're like, absolutely don't look any further than those. If and when you see that, know that we are very sincere and also understand that, yes, we do have partners in Twiniversity, but they are genuine partners. They are not sponsors. We solicit these companies and be like, listen, we know that this is going to be the best for twin families. Do you want to play with us? So whenever you see any partnerships with people at Twiniversity, just know that it is really because we sought that out. Okay, hold on. Amanda, I'm going to give you co-host right now if I can find you so that I can. Actually, I can't find you. So Amanda, could you take, there you are. I was going to say, take yourself off mute. I'm going to make you co-host. Okay, so now if anybody pops on and they're in their car and we hear them, we could always mute you guys. Okay, so know that you have access to this. It is
You're muted.
Okay, now could you hear me? Stunning. All right, just making sure. Okay, so back to this. You have this gear guide. Really download it because we're going to be putting it behind a paywall soon, but we're doing this since it's our inaugural event, and we honestly would appreciate your feedback on it. So now jumping into this is what a sample page looks like. So if you've never taken a Twiniversity class and know that you really should consider taking a Twiniversity class, that we do have all of these lists that are available for you in the class. So don't get too nervous if you're already planning on taking kind of like our Expecting Twins class. But I want to kind of break it down into several little bits and pieces today, because honestly, there is no way in 75 minutes, there's no way in 3 hours that I could cover every single product that you guys are going to need. But I want to highlight some of the big ones. But the way that we broke up the gear guide is it's broke up into basics, to room for two, to feeding, to outside, to safety, to like there's to the nursery section. So understand that it's broken up nicely so you could kind of bite little pieces off as you're doing your homework, and you and your partner or you and your sister or anybody, you guys should sit down and say, okay, this weekend, we're going to work on basics. Let's talk about diapers. Which diapers do we want to get? Do we want to go for a subscription service, or do we want to get kind of diapers that are going to be found at Walgreens? So break it down piece by piece. And that's what I mean by starting to do your homework. And then your partner could be like, oh my gosh, I really like this stroller. And you could be like, I don't know about that. Look at this stroller. And then you decide as a family which one actually makes it to your registry. Okay. All right, so when I was telling you before about adding stuff to your registry, we're going to jump right into week 18. Now, I am definitely moderately obsessed with my registry. And the reason is that we find at Twiniversity, when people register for stuff on Amazon, and then people register for stuff at, Pottery Barn Kids, and then people register for stuff at Target, you have 700 million registries all over the place, and it's very difficult for them to talk to each other. But good news, my registry does just that. So this is an example that I just pulled up right before the class started, is that you download this little bar that goes on top of your browser window. So I personally use Safari. So you download it and this little browser goes in my Safari thing, which you guys could see right there. And then I just randomly went to the Target website. I'm like, I love these cribs. You click the little star thing right there, the little box. Do I have it here? Let's see. Yep. Nope. Hold on one second. You click the little present, and then the present literally puts it into your My Registry. So your My Registry is a universal registry that is compiled, not just of stores that you already started a registry, but literally any website, anywhere in the universe. So that's what I was so excited about. That was my one example as I went to Target. But now if you look here, you could link all of your registries. So you could link your Target registry, your Crate and Barrel, your Amazon, your at-home registry, your CB2, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, the list goes on, so that you have one place that is going to manage all of your items. Because if you keep jumping from place to place, it gets really overwhelming really, really fast. So there's up to 20 stores that you could link, and there it is. Now, Babylist is a little bit different. You'll see that it works a little bit differently than your My Registry. Definitely check it out. You'll see exactly what I mean. I don't want to talk bad about Babylist because everybody's wonderful, but definitely check out My Registry. So we got up to 20 stores there. So now I want to jump into, as you're building, I want to talk about these two items. So maybe I'll talk a little bit more about other things. But the first thing I really do want to talk about is diapers. So even before baby wipes, I want to talk about diapers. So in my real world, can be made bigger is the view. Could everybody see okay? Yes, it's only on the side of me. I have me mostly. But Amanda, could you answer the question and see if there's something that that person could do? So I guess if you're on a phone, it may be a little small. Turn your phone to the side if you're watching me on a phone. But I want to talk about diapers. So not only do I see a plethora of babies through Twiniversity, but I also see a plethora of babies through my lactation practice. So on average, I would say I get to hold upwards of 25 new babies under the age of 11 days a week. So I see a lot of diapers, and everybody's coming in with Pampers, Cordery, the Target brand, which by the way is super duper cute, Kirkland brand, and the list goes on and on. Hello Bello. And I will be honest and tell you that the gold standard, unfortunately, really is Pampers. I say unfortunately because they used to be one of the most expensive. However, if you compare apples to apples, you will find that they are no more expensive than like the Cordery diapers. So the reason why I like Pampers the best is because they are definitely the most absorbent. And the other thing is the tabs could come off and go back on really easily. So I'm finding by playing with all of these brand newborns, sometimes you just want to take a peek into their diaper and see what's going on in there. And I'm telling you right now, like with the Hello Bello and with the Cordery, the tabs just don't go back on. And we end up having to put a whole new diaper on. So in general, if you're registering for diapers, don't register for any newborns whatsoever. You want to start registering at size 1 and up. And let's do this as our next game. How many diapers do you think you guys are going to use a week? How many diapers for newborn twins do you think that you are going to use a week? All right, so you could quickly do the math. I'm going to give Amanda my secret number. I'm going to text her because I don't want her to kind of be caught off guard. But I just sent Amanda what the number is so that I am not showing favorites. So in general, you are going to use upwards of, you're still guessing. I don't want to say it. Upwards of 148 diapers a week. I know, Jillian, I see that face on you. I feel it. It is not a bad idea to strongly consider cloth diapering during the day and conventional diapering during the night. It is not. If you have a washer dryer in your house, you really should strongly consider it. You're going to spend easily over $8,000 for the entire time that they're using disposable diapers and wipes. Throwing that out there. And I'm not like, oh my God, your carbon footprint. I'm taking that off the table. I'm talking just financially straight up. It is a lot of money. So if you're going to spend money, I want you to get the best products that are available for that money. So if you opt to not cloth diaper, then definitely consider going with something like Pampers, where you could use coupons, where, I mean, they really are just better. I would love to love one of the new diaper companies, but their whole time tested really does, it really means something. So look into that. Amanda, pick a winner, another winner of our Starbucks gift card. We're going to be giving out a few because it's just fun because we play games at baby showers. So the next thing I do want to talk about is I want to talk about baby wipes. And for Kylie, the companies that I really want you guys to look at is look at Charlie Banana. And then I also want you to look at Kanga Care. Those would be the two cloth diaper companies. Interestingly, like I kid you not, that stretch. I have also just dropped everything, but I literally have a Kanga Care newborn diaper right here because I was just talking to a family yesterday and they were talking about cloth diapering. So the reasons why we like particular companies is because you got to go for the gussets. If you're going to use a cloth diapering company, you have to make sure that they have kind of these little gussets, just like regular Pampers do. So could you guys see that? You see what I'm talking about? So they're the ones that have the patent on this. And it's interesting because their patent number, I don't know if you could see that. Their patent number is actually on every single diaper. So Kanga Care is the one that holds the patent on the double gussets for diapers. So look at them, but take a look at Charlie Banana too. And if you're going to cloth diaper, you don't need double the amount. Like it's going to recommend, like this is what we recommend for twins, for singletons. You actually need 1.5 times because you're washing them so frequently. And don't worry about like washing them with other clothes or your clothes. I am much more skeeved out by your partner's skeevy socks when they come back from the gym than I am for a little poopy diaper. So in all sincerity, they're really not that bad. Newborns do, I mean, they poop pretty interestingly, but you literally just throw it right into the washing machine, high temp. You could even buy a laundry sanitizer, but it's definitely worth checking into that. And yes, I definitely said register for size 1, not for newborn, because we don't know how big your twinnies are going to be. So Jen, right? We don't know. Your twinnies could be born at 5 pounds. Your twinnies could be born at 8 pounds. And I am not kidding about that. So if you bought newborn diapers and you had, 5-pounders, that's fine. Those are going to last you for quite some time. But if you ended up having like 7.5-pounders, those newborn diapers are not going to last you longer, and you're going to need those size 1s. So when you're registering, always look for the size 1s. Okay. And then also, if you're going to get cloth diapers, know that cloth diapers come in not a size, they come in a multitude of sizes. So these little snaps basically turn them into a size newborn, a size 1, a size 2, et cetera, et cetera. So you use them for a lot longer than, you would use a size 1. So just understand that cloth diapers are not necessarily the same as conventional diapers. And there are plenty of twin families, yes, even here in New York City, where we might have to go down to the basement to do laundry. But seriously, baby poop is not really a big deal. But jumping into wipes, go for the wipes that are the least expensive. Now, I find everybody's buying water wipes. That's fine if you want to buy water wipes, but water wipes could tend to be a little bit too wet. And you're like, why is that a problem? Because if you're going to put a barrier ointment or any type of cream on your tiny little baby butts, their skin needs to be dry. So if you're going to use a wet wipe that's too damp, you're going to actually have to kind of like air out their tiny little bottoms before you slap on some diaper cream or some barrier ointment. All right. So just understand that when we're looking for wipes, we want them to be wet, but we don't want to be able to squeeze it and water comes out of it. So if you did buy a pack of wipes that were way too damp, just leave the top of the packaging open so that they could air out a little bit. Okay. Or you could always just squeeze it right there, but then that's something else you're going to wet and things get crazy. So when it comes to diapers and baby wipes, we've already got that. And I really do want to talk about cord blood banking. Now, how many of you, and this is going to be in every class, and seriously, like I will talk about this till the cows come home, because currently one of our team members is actually in the process of potentially using the stem cells that they banked. Amanda, I don't even know if you knew that. So I know that I'm very serious when I say that this stuff is usable and it works. So if you have not considered cord blood banking, please seriously add that to your baby registry. And I will tell you here, I think I have a slide because I got really excited. I told you I was obsessed, kids. Okay. You can add it to your My Registry. This is what I mean by how obsessed I am with this website. So I went to the CBR website and you could register for $500 coupons or any amount that you want for CBR through My Registry. That's just one of the things. We do have a code. It's DUO2. It's not just for Twiniversity. It's for any twin families that are anywhere in the universe, but cord blood banking is very, very expensive. And we just want you to make a very educated decision if this is something that you want to do. Why? So we don't know what cord blood banking is. Technically, this is technically the job of your doctor to tell you this, but I will happily put on my fake doctor's hat and tell you when you are pregnant with your twinnies. So whether you have one placenta or whether you have two placentas, you have magical cells that are stored in your placenta that basically go from your placenta into your babies. And when they go into your babies, they turn into exactly what that baby needs. So these magical cells, they're like shape-shifting cells, for a lack of a better term. And of course, this is like a very bastardized version of what cord blood banking is. But you have these magical components in your placenta that can never be replicated by man. Because of that, you have the ability to take those cells post-delivery that aren't being used, that would be considered medical waste, and you have the opportunity to privately store them. About, I would say 6 years ago, cord blood banking was still a thing. I humbly would have used my own stem cells, which is why I am such a big advocate for it. I would have used them on my baby B. But many years back, you were able to donate these stem cells to your public bank. I don't know when it happened, but there was a huge shift in the United States. And if you go to bethematch.org, you will see that that is the national donor website. We are no longer eligible as twin families. We're no longer eligible to donate these stem cells, our placenta, and all of that. So it literally is just medical waste that you're throwing in the garbage that could potentially, I don't want to say like save your life or save your baby's life because I don't want to be that dramatic, but it kind of is that dramatic. So take a look at their website. It's just cordblood.com, but I will be talking about this until I am blue in the face, because pre-pandemic doctors had conversations with you guys about cord blood banking, and now we're finding that it's not even part of a visit anymore. So if you need more information, you call, I think it's just 1-800-cord-blood. You could get the full download, and also know that if you have certain genetic disorders or diseases in your family, you might even be able to bank for free. They have this thing called the Newborn Possibilities Program. So you definitely want to look into that and say, oh, my dad had this, or my husband has this, or I had this when I was a little girl. Whatever it is, go to check out the Newborn Possibilities Program for CBR, and it may literally not even cost you a penny, because they want the medical research and you want the cure if it's potentially available. So in a nutshell, that is what cord blood banking is. So we know that one of the things you can register for, they have their own registry available at cordblood.com. But now that I saw that I can do it on my registry, I want to add everything. And Amanda, I'm totally making a my registry for my birthday next year. I'm just saying, literally, if you knew how much time I spent playing around with this website, it's a little crazy. And if you really look, you'll see I made up a fake name. So if like you zoom in on that, you'll see what my fake name is for my fake registry, because I was really excited. So that's what cord blood banking is. Add it to your registry. Definitely at least have a conversation if it's something that you should add. But I could help you save all the money that could pay for that cord blood. So if you're like, oh, our finances are so tight, I'm telling you right now, this isn't a product that's like, oh my God, that's nice to have. Like, this is a product that if you could afford it, I really, really would like for you guys to consider it. Okay. And I am definitely a no BS kind of girl. So take a look at that and add that to your registry. But I wanted to make sure that that always gets mentioned whenever I am in front of my pregnant mamas and papas. All right, so moving kind of from the necessities, because we can't talk about everything, but I want to talk about the room for two. So I do want to talk about cribs, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide. But right now, I really want to address the elephant in the room that is the glider/rocking chair. Is this a necessity? How about this? Yes or no? Is this a necessity? Amanda, pick us a random winner. Yes or no? Are you getting a rocker? Are you getting a glider? Is this something that you are adding? I'm just curious. So I like to use our Starbucks money as a way to get information from you guys. Do you see what I'm doing here? So yes, so here we go. So it's actually kind of mixed. Look, a lot of people are getting it, but a lot of people aren't. So this is something that is a nice to have. It is not critical. It is not a must have. It is a nice to have. The reason why I say it's a nice to have is because if you get a regular size rocker and you are planning on tandem feeding your twins at any time, you will not fit in that standard size rocker. If you are going to plan on having that like Earth Mama experience where I'm going to sit there and tandem feed my babies as I rock, you need to get a chair and a half. There's a company called Little Castle. There's quite a few companies out there, but you need to literally get a chair and a half. I also think that Pottery Barn Kids has one. Amazon has one as well. But if you're going to get one, you have to make sure that it's going to be able to fit you. Now, I am a large chick. If I ever contemplated like this, the chair and a half would be comfortable. If you were even like the skinniest of minis, I am telling you now, it is still not big enough. Like as a lactation professional, I will not put you guys in a chair and be like, let's attach these two kiddos. It's just way too much. There's not enough space. And in a perfect universe, I actually just get you guys to breastfeed in bed or on the floor or on the couch. So that way, if a baby needs to be put down, like you got to like take a baby off and like rest a baby while you burp another baby, that's the best way to do it. Is I want you to have a flat surface on both sides. Okay, so that's the very big thing that I want to say about registering for that, because I know that that is a very, very, very high ticket item and it is not mandatory. So most people that end up buying rockers or gliders and they're like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do this. If it's made for a singleton, it's just going to be a waste of money. So that's something that maybe you get secondhand, right? So Facebook Marketplace, eBay, your local Craigslist. I don't even know if that's a thing. I feel like it is, but seriously, look to get one secondhand because it is not worth spending the money. You're not going to use it enough. But if you do get the chair and a half, you're much more likely to be able to have enough room to easily breastfeed to or whatever. It's just much, much, much more comfortable. Okay. So now let's go to cribs. Amanda made us this great slide that was in the gear guide that she put together. So I'm going to break it down a little bit for you here. It's broken down in there as well. So if you need to grab that, feel free. But I want to tell you there's 3 different types of cribs. There are standard cribs and they're cribs that just crib. They're not turning into a bookshelf. They are not turning into Optimus Prime. They are literally just a crib. And that crib will hold a traditional size conventional mattress. We could talk about mattresses too. If you want to talk about organic versus conventional, we could do that as well. But a standard crib is nothing more than a crib. But regardless of no matter what type of crib you're getting, I strongly recommend that you get a crib that has multiple heights. So, for example, right, I am close to 6 feet. I could easily reach into a crib that only has a bottom level setting. However, if you're like my mom and 5'2", there's no way that my mom could reach into the bottom of these cribs twice with twinnies. And I see you reaching in as a tiny lady, and I raise you. If you had a C-section, where's that scar? Where's that scar as you're bending in to those cribs? So you have to make sure that you get a crib that does have multiple settings and multiple levels. When you come home from the hospital, have it all set up and have it at the highest setting. And then as the babies get big, you lower it and lower it and lower it. And of course, when they're standing, you need to have it at the lowest setting that's even potentially possible. Okay, so that's a standard crib. Now, if you use a mini crib, because many people are like, we have a very small home. Girl, you're preaching to the choir. My apartment is 650 square feet, and I feel like it's a palatial estate here for the city. But if you need to get a mini crib, understand that not only are you getting a smaller crib, but you also need to get the smaller mattress that goes with that crib. Many mini cribs actually will come with a mattress, but if it doesn't come with a mattress, or let's say you got it secondhand, which by the way, cribs are something that I would definitely 1,000,000% buy new. I would never, ever take a secondhand crib because there have been so many crib recalls in the past 10 years. And Brooke, we're recording it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But just know that there have been so many crib recalls. I would definitely make sure that you buy a new crib. And you don't break the bank. Like, don't spend $600 on a crib. It's totally unnecessary. Like $200 max is all that I would spend on a crib. For real. Because I still got to buy the mattress. Like, it adds up quickly. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, we're going to get 2 mini cribs, because that's all that fits. I see your 2 mini cribs and I raise you 1 conventional crib and 1 mini crib. Because if you don't have enough space for 2 conventional cribs or 2 standard cribs, can we fit 1 mini crib and 1 standard crib? And that way, when the kiddos grow and they're too big for the mini crib, at least we don't have to now buy a second crib down the line or figure out what we're going to have to do. So in general, please make sure that you measure to see if you could just get 1 mini crib and 1 standard crib. Now, then you guys also know this, there's a convertible crib, and I put a picture of it at the bottom. That one is from Pottery Barn. I was just trying to kind of find something that popped out of the background, but you could see that a convertible crib does Optimus Prime. So it starts out as a standard crib, and then you could take the side off. At the Prego Expo that I was just in, there is a new crib. I think it's Storecraft is the company that now one of the things that it turns into is two bookshelves, like the ends of the cribs turn into bookshelves. So like, I'm not even kidding you when I say that like these cribs could turn into a million different things. But if you are going to spend the money, would I buy a convertible crib? To be very honest with you, I wouldn't. I would go for two standard cribs. And then when the babies were too big to fit in the standard cribs, I would keep those standard size mattresses and I would buy two toddler beds. Because when it's time to do that big transition, right? So when they go from teeny tiny little beings to little humans, if you involve them in the process, they're more likely to stay in bed. If you just took the side off their crib and were like, okay, Johnny, you're a big kid today. Look, you get to sleep in your big boy bed. Johnny's going to be like, hold on for a second. That's not my bed. That's my crib with the side missing. But if you were like, hey, Johnny, which crib do you want? Do you want Paw Patrol? Do you want Elmo? Do you want Mickey Mouse? If Johnny was involved in the process of picking his crib, he is more likely to sleep in it because he had a little bit of that control. Okay, so that is all that I want to say kind of about cribs. So when you're thinking about it, spend more money on the mattress because you're going to use that longer than the actual cribs. Any thoughts about the Montessori floor beds instead of cribs? If that's the way you want to go, definitely go for it. The funny thing is now it's called Montessori, but IKEA has been selling that since the dawn of time because a lot of other companies just have a crib on the floor. That's definitely something to consider. But once again, can you reach into it? Can you reach into it? How tiny are you? How tiny is your mom? Right? If your mom's coming to help you or your Aunt Pam is coming to help you, could everybody grab the babies in the crib setting that you wanted in? Throwing that out there because once again, I was fine. I could reach in any kind of depth of the crib. My mom couldn't reach anybody. She would be like, you got to come get the kids. She seriously couldn't reach the kids. So always know you got to think about the height, not just the price, not just the color, not just the pattern, not just the wood, not just the Green Guard certified or the off gassing. We have to actually be practical first and foremost, and then look at every other feature. Okay, guys? So what are my thoughts on smart bassinets? I hate them with a passion, and I am cool to say that. Do I seem like somebody, as somebody who, by the way, I don't know if you know, I have a whole sleep book. If you come out of the gate using a snoo, you will hate yourself. You will hate yourself. It is so hard to get that kid weaned off of a snoo. And there are also some countries that don't sell snooze because when that baby is crying, you're supposed to respond to them, not an electronic component. I am not guilting anybody into anything. I will gently say, you're having twins. They're going to cry. You're not going to sleep for a hot minute. It's going to be, you're going to all have tickets on like the shit show bus where all it's going to be a mess, but that's what it is. And that's okay. If your grandmother didn't have it, odds are you don't need it. Keep that as your mantra. Literally, write it down. I want to tattoo it on my forehead. Like, what is the name of that singer that has all the tattoos on his face? Somebody help me. Throw it in the chat. I can't remember. Thank you very much. I know Amelia's coming through, and I'm trying to get it before then. Post Malone, thank you. It should literally say, if your grandmother didn't have it, you don't need it. Did your grandmother have a smart bassinet? Topic closed. So yes, it is really, now, let's say hypothetically, you already have it, right? And you're like, oh, that didn't tell me. I'm sorry that you have it. It's okay. But don't plug it in. Look how simple that is. Ta-da! Problem solved. So if you do have a smart bassinet, you don't have to use any electrical components whatsoever. But yes, Savannah, holla, that's the way that my grandmother had more kids, is when the drawer was available. I should bring my mother in. I'm actually in my mom's apartment. That's where our Twiniversity headquarters is, in my sister's childhood bedroom, so that we could keep all of our costs down to not pay New York City rent. But yeah, it is totally fine. It is safer, in my opinion, for your child to sleep in a laundry basket that has all the open sides than the snoo. What? Did I say that out loud? I kind of did. I really don't like it. I really, really don't like it. And as a lactation person, I will tell you that shit covers up those babies' cries when that baby's hungry, and that baby eventually just gives up and be like, nobody's feeding me. I'm just going to go back to sleep. It breaks my heart into a million pieces when I see that happen. So I really wasn't planning on talking about that, but I did now. Cat's out of the bag. I've never liked them. And it's fine. Feel free, text Harvey, tell him how I feel. He knows how I feel. I've told him myself. He's the inventor of this now. It's not practical for 20s. That's a singleton thing. Let them worry about it. Let them figure that out. For our little circle, nah, we don't do that here. All right, jumping in, we're going to go into Feeding Town, USA. Now, you do need quite a few things, but once again, did your grandmother have it? You probably don't need it. The things I want to talk most about today is I want to talk about bottles, and I want to talk about where you're going to feed them. So even if you are planning on exclusive breastfeeding, right, and you're going to be like, my baby's going to be on my boobs all the time. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. Good for you. However, definitely, please heed my warning when I tell you you need to introduce a bottle to them within the first 30 days. So I know that there are definitely, I honestly would say 14 days. So like if you're asking Nat, I'll say 14 days. If you're asking like, I have to wear my official lactation hat, it's the first month. But I would even say the first week, just keep that between us. But a bottle feeding skill is a learned skill. So the quicker that we can have them learn it, the easier it's going to be for them to kind of sustain it. If you wait too long to introduce a bottle, hands down, I kid you not, one of my biggest challenges as a feeding professional is getting a baby to take a bottle that is refusing it. They act like the bottle is filled with gasoline and that the nipple on the bottle is made of thorns. It is the most dramatic thing that happens. So the sooner that we could get a baby to accept a bottle and keep it into rotation is what we want. Now, what bottles? Because everybody always, and I'm very, very brand specific about bottles. I'm going to this website, right? So I'm not going to this website. I'm showing you this picture for a reason. So I have them on me. When you are buying bottles, okay, whether it is, of course, I say Dr. Brown's all the way. They are worth their weight in gold, glass or plastic. I do not care. And they all BPA free. Literally, you're fine to use these if you're really stressed about it. But I will tell you, when you are looking at bottles, this is going to be the challenge that I give you. And this is, now, if you are not breastfeeding or never planning on having a baby to breast, then just ignore this. But if you are planning on breastfeeding, we need to make sure that when we purchase bottles, that they fill the triangle. What do I mean by that? I want you to make a triangle with your paws. Okay, do you guys see that? And I want any nipple to fill as much of that as possible. I don't have any garbage bottles here, but I'll tell you one that I hate. It's the Nano Bebe. The Nano Bebe. And the reason why is because when your babies are coming on to eat from this bottle, I need them to have a wide latch. I need them to get on the same way that they would at breast. If you were looking at a bottle here, let me just draw this for you. I didn't want to put a picture of it in it because I thought that was crappy of me, but I really do want to educate you guys on this. If you're looking at a bottle, right? If you see that there's some bottles that are like this, all right, you see what I'm saying? That the bottles are like that. That baby is going to have a very shallow latch. Whoop, right that. So if we're going to buy a bottle, okay, we want a bottle that's almost shaped as much like that as possible so that they could have their mouths open as much as possible. Everybody is always worried about the flow, right? Oh, I have to have the flow to match my nips. Nope, it's not the flow that matches your nips. It's the width that matches your nips. So no matter what bottles you're using, which out of curiosity in the chat, could you guys tell me how many of you signed up for that bottle sample box? So like when you register, right? Whether it is Babylist or maybe Amazon, there's a lot of companies that send you like, here's 11 bottles to choose from. Okay, there we go. So Michael's got it. So just know, yep, you'll see. And when you sign up for all your registries, you'll see exactly, they'll give you the opportunity with that. All right, so the Philips Advent, honestly, Not a big fan of that either. It's not wide enough. So here, this is what I was saying. We want it to fill the triangle as much as possible. Now, does this fill it up solidly? No, it doesn't fill it up solidly. I will show you. Okay, so like here, for example, this is the one that comes with the Spectra. Like this fills it up solidly, but the reason why, this is what's worth it. Like they patent this. This stupid little device right here is mega genius. So, and you'll be like, oh my God, it's so hard to wash. It's so many pieces. Yeah, boo, it is a lot of pieces. You know why? Because it works. So what this does is this prevents air from going into the nipple region so that your babies actually consume less air. So it's a vent almost that's in there. So between filling the triangle, because this is the closest, and this green vent, it's a no-brainer. Those are the bottles that I would like. Those are the bottles, honestly, when we go to baby showers, and John's cousin, my husband's cousin, as if you know who John was, by the way, I do like how I was like, John's cousin. So John's cousin just had twins, Ryan, and that's all that I bought her. She wanted glass. I bought her a bazillion Dr. Brown's bottles, and I was there for 10 hours this weekend with these teeny tiny little beans who are not 6 pounds yet. I was slapping them around. She's like, oh my God, they're so fragile. I was like, boo, they're not fragile. They're good. I got this. Like, relax, go take a nap. And literally, I was like, eat something, go take a nap. I'll be up here and we'll bullshit later. But the Dr. Brown's bottles for realsies are amazing. Now, I see your Dr. Brown's bottles and I raise you have to make sure that you get the right nipples. Dr. Brown's, when you buy them standard, okay, so if you buy anything bigger than the 2-ounce bottles, it's going to come with a level 1 nipple. Level 1 is a totally appropriate level to use if you're going to do breastfeeding and bottle feeding. The flow is delish. But if you have preemies, okay, so let's say your babies are born on the earlier side, right? So one thing that I did have to get for Ryan, because I didn't remember to buy them, is buy the preemie nipples. So register for preemie nipples in addition to the bottles. How many do you need? If you are exclusively bottle feeding, get ready. Hold on to your bloomers, kids. You're going to need about 16 so that you could wash them once a day. I know, I told you, but if you're going to get like a bottle washer or you're going to do bottles more than once a day, then clearly get as many as you need. But if you're like, I don't want these babies on my boobs, maybe you had some trauma, maybe you had a lump removed at some point. There's a lot of reasons why people choose to not breastfeed, or maybe you just hate the concept, which is totally fair, by the way. Just know that you should consider starting maybe with the preemie if it's too fast, if the level 1 is too fast and the babies are choking. So do I recommend a bottle washer? Honestly, that Brezza is no joke. No joke. So if you have not yet, by the way, just know that the Brezza bottle washer is my jam. I used it, but the washer dryer sterilizer, it's 88 friggin' minutes. 88 minutes and made me crazy. You could also just do top rack of your dishwasher. I'm throwing that out there. So if your dishwasher has a high temp setting, you're fine. Just make sure that you get baskets. Okay. So now that's the vessel that these little milkies are going to come out of. But I do want to talk about where we are going to feed them. If you have not heard of a table for 2, guys, for realsies, you need to look into this. Once again, twin mom invention, right? This wasn't some random dude that's like, I have a good idea. Let's make money off twins, like everybody else under the sun does. This mom, literally twin mama, created this feeding pillow. So it's not just a feeding pillow, it is a positioner. Please do not tell me that the Twinsy pillow can be used like this, because it cannot. All right. You can use a Twinsy pillow as an infant positioner, but when the babies are little, like the 5-pounders, you'll have to put something underneath it. And honestly, it's too much of a mess. If you are going to be bottle feeding exclusively, you really, really, really should consider getting a table for 2. And in all sincerity, they are a little bit expensive, I will tell you, but this is one of those products that's cost versus worth. Yes, it is worth it, because it is going to be where kind of they're going to be safely sitting. We know they're in an upright position, so it's going to help them digest faster. It's a very comfortable position to just literally sit crisscross applesauce in front of, and then you kind of lean over and feed the babies right there. And they just created a preemie newborn snuggler that's specifically made for your teeny tiny beans. So this is something I really would recommend. They have some really sweet patterns. And so if you want to do like boy girl, or you want to do girl girl, or if you want to do kind of gender neutral because you don't know what you're having, consider adding this to your list, because I have seen many, many twin families that are using the Twin Z as a feeding positioner, but that is not an appropriate place to feed the babies. The babies are not on the correct incline, and they actually could get too slouchy. So because Ryan was using this. So think about this. If this is the way we feed our babies, we need to feed our babies like this, in this position. Could you guys see? Here we go. So this is the best position, whether I'm feeding them in my arms or I'm feeding them in a bouncy seat. But the Twin Z, they sink into it because it's not made to be a bottle feeding positioner. So the Twinnies actually sink in the bottom. This is not, I don't want to eat like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could eat in a lot of uncomfortable positions, but this one, this is not it. So if you are going to be bottle feeding your babies, please make sure that you grab yourself a table for two. Okay, so add that to the list. Once again, yes, did I do it, by the way? Did I put it on my next one? No, I did it. But the funny part is I can add it to my registry from there. I just didn't screenshot it, but you could buy it directly. Okay. So do I recommend table for two if planning to breast? And yes, I do. I recommend table for two because it's a great positioner. It's just a great place that after you finished breastfeeding your babies, they still should be held upright for 20 minutes for digestion, especially if they were born on the early side where the little sphincter at the top of their stomach isn't fully formed. So like for realsies, you gotta think about where we're going to put the babies when they're not sleeping, right? So if we have to hold Twinnies upright for 20 minutes after a feed, that's a lot of time a day. So we know that this is the perfect pitch, and it's really, really comfortable. It has two bottle holders on the side. So if you have babies that are using two different formulas, right? Maybe somebody's using like an Alimentum and somebody's drinking breast milk exclusively. We'll keep them right there in their little holders so that you don't have to mix up who's who's. So throwing it out there. Is it a need? I don't know. I kind of want to say that it's a need, but once again, it depends on your budget. But your grandmother didn't have this, right? So I look at that. But does your grandmother have Twinnies too? My grandmother, by the way, just like ripped me a new one when I found out I was having twins. And I was like, I'm so scared. We're going to have to move. And my grandmother's like, Josie Meneza on Hester Street had twins. She was on the 6th floor of the walk up. That's what my nanny actually sounded like. And she really did say that. Like when I was all upset about having twins, my grandmother's like, get over it. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I was worried for a second. I didn't know that you would yell at me for having emotions. My apologize, Natty. I know you're 82, but you did have 700,000 children. So I'm gonna let that one slide. So yeah, mental health. What's that? Who? What? You were born in 1902? Okay, but you've been through it, and she lived to tell. And we did good. But she did yell at me all the time. Anytime I got upset and felt overwhelmed, she literally would remind me that I don't live on the 6th floor of a walk-up. This is true. Perspective. Perspective is what that chick provided. And my daughter's named after her, by the way. So that's an interesting thing. So the spirit of my nanny comes through when my daughter is yelling at me about everything now. It's wonderful. It's great. It's generations of basically criticizing me for having emotions. It's wonderful. Definitely don't come to Mulberry Street in Little Italy. We'll just yell at you for crying over things that, are worthy of crying over. But I digress. Thank you, Angelica, my therapist, wherever you are. No, she's not joining us today, but cheers. Everybody, cheers to Angelica, to therapy, guys. I love it. Mazel tov. So after we grab our table for two, we also are going to go into bath time now, right? I can't cover everything. And also what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to focus on different items every time we do one of these, which is really a pain in the ass for me because I have to create new presentations for you. But if you guys want to take like the next one, I don't want it to be like a repeat of the same client. We'll always try to discuss different things so that it's always fresh for you. So this is the biggest one. Every baby, especially winter babies, get friggin' congested, okay? And yes, there are some wonderful moms who have extraordinary long nails who could scoop into your baby's nostrils. I don't recommend that, okay? I don't recommend you take your very nice manicure and start digging in to your kid's face until you reach their eyes and brains. Okay, let's skip that. I do recommend strongly that you grab yourself an Oogie Bear. Now, there are 8 million knockoffs of this in the world. Do not buy the knockoffs because they are garbage. I will show you why they're better. I have mine. Okay. I have literally like 5 of them behind me because this is yet another item. There's actually, could you see that right there? I have a diaper basket. That's my standard baby shower gift is I always get like a diaper caddy and I fill it with all stuff that I think that new mama needs of things that she probably didn't get. This is always on the list because nobody thinks about needing this until you need it. So register for it. That's the thing. Okay, so it comes in this little case. This one is the bright one. Okay, so when you open it, it looks like that. This little piece right here comes out. So the standard one does not look like this, but I like the bright one because I can't see because I'm old. So you take the little sleeve and you put the sleeve over. And then when you push the magic button, there's a light right there. Hold on, let me see if I could turn this on for you. Okay, could you see that it's lit up? So that way, when I am with the babies in the middle of the night and I have to get little hard snots or even regular snots out, it's very, very easy to just go in and scoop their little tiny nostrils. Okay, so you could see that it's a curved scooper. Okay, so that's the curved scooper right there. So the curved scooper makes it easy to get all the hard stuff out and all the liquid stuff. So you just kind of keep scooping it until you need to. And then this is what's washable because we can't wash this because it has an electrical component into it, which is why these little sleeves come off. But I would get, if you can, I would get the light up one. I think it's amazing. So the reason why the knockoffs totally suck is that the knockoffs bend. Like seriously, I'm literally trying to bend this. This doesn't bend. It's supposed to be a hard plastic so that you could actually get in there. With the ones that are on Amazon, because everybody stole her idea, by the way, and she's actually a friend of mine, like Nina, who is the inventor of this, who by the way was on Shark Tank, which by the way got a bid. Like this is just a woman I was sitting randomly next to, having a beer with, and she's like, "Oh, we made this little product called 30 Bear." This was a million years ago. And she's a pharmacist. And her biggest issue was that everybody tries to either use saline for the kiddos, but you really can't. You can't be like sniffing the saline and spit it out. You can't do that with a teeny tiny baby. You need something to get in there. And honestly, it's not safe to use a cotton swab and it's not safe to use your fingernail. So you have to have some kind of picker. And they did once upon a time. They had like a little spoon at the end of a really like metal stick. That's not safe either. So the little ears of the bear stop it from penetrating your baby's nostrils too far. So now the regular Oogie Bear. So this is the if you see the one that's there in the picture, you'll see that it has one of the ends has an end like this, which is not focusing. So it's driving me a little crazy there. And then you see that the other one has a longer loop. You could also use it for their teeny tiny ears because they get ear gunk just like we do. So it's an ear picker and a booger picker. And for realsies, this is one of the items that everybody forgets to put on their registry. And then your babies get colds and you're looking for this in Walgreens at 2:00 in the morning and trying to Instacart it to your house. Don't. Just put it on your registry and make sure that you have it. This is as essential as a baby bathtub. To be honest with you, this is more essential than a baby bathtub because I could fill up my sink and wash a baby. There's nothing in my house that I could MacGyver to be as safe as Oogie. So add this to your registry, hands down, you will greatly regret it. Should we have separate ones for each baby? Absolutely not. They're going to have the same germs. Don't fool yourself thinking that, oh, I'm going to give just the germy one is going to have germs. Kids, if you go on a Tuesday to the doctor because somebody has a cold, just leave the copay. Just leave the copay. You'll be back on Thursday. Just be like, you know what? Tell me when I get BOGO copays because I'll see you in 2 days. There's no way. It's not a booger picker. Of course, if it makes you feel better to have 2 separate ones, but in all sincerity, sickness is going to go through your house like the plague 700 million times. You could ask me and Amanda. It is unavoidable. It is pointless. Let them share pacifiers. Let them share bottles. They eat each other's faces.
Once they
they're going to suck on each other's noses. So really, where are you going? So yes, you don't need 2 Oogies, but they come 2 in a pack, which is great. But the light one, so get the light one if you need to, and then also get a set of the regulars too. But for realsies, and if anybody has any question, they're the best. Oogie's the best. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about, right? What was the other item that I had? Bloop, bloop. Nope. So we had the booger picker. I don't remember what it was, but I'll come back to it. But everything else on this item, like, do you really need hooded towels? Do you really need hooded towels? Do we? I know it's cute to make the babies look like little hippopotamuses. I know how sweet it is when they look like little poodles with ears. But come on, that's college money. Put that money in the S&P 500. You'll thank me later. Save the money on the bath towels. And even if people buy you bath towels, that doesn't mean you can't return them. Take that credit and buy diapers or anything you actually need. Okay, remember, everything is returnable. Target has a very liberal return policy. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. All right. So this is the one that I was talking about. Look, of course, super obsessed. You could add it to the My Registry, your My Registry directly from their website. And why I wanted to see if you could do that is sometimes, like, if you have it go to their hear me out. If you put it on My Registry, right, instead of it going to Amazon, if it goes to the Oogie Bear website and then Oogie Bear has a pop-up for sign up now and get 20% off, why shouldn't grandma get 20% off? So send them directly to the manufacturer's website instead of going to Amazon or Target or whatever, because they're not going to give you a coupon for it. Right. So the thing is anytime, and this is another reason why I love My Registry, because truthfully, even if you look at car seats, if you go to the manufacturer's website, it may say, you may be like, oh my God, it's the same price as Amazon. But is it really? Because sometimes the manufacturer's website will give you 25% off. And sometimes they'll even add them in additional items like a car seat cover or extra straps. So always look at the manufacturer's website before you start adding stuff on Amazon, Target, Walmart, and all the other registries. And that way, when you link it to your My Registry, you have it. I prefer these hands down over the snot suckers because the snot suckers, honestly, sometimes are just not what you need. Sometimes it's hard gunk that's in there, and a snot sucker is not going to pull out. It's going to pull out liquid snot, but it's not going to pull out like the chunky, gross snot. So that's kind of what the difference is. So I would just clear it as much as possible. And I would use an aspirator, which, by the way, Oogie does sell an aspirator. I probably have one on that shelf back there. I'll take it out for the next time we do it. But you can use an aspirator, but they're not the same thing because hard snot and liquid snot require two different ways to kind of scoop it out, for a lack of a better term. My brain just scoop it out is all you're going to get from me today. Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to, good. So we're coming up to our end of our event today. And I really did want to talk more about car seats, and I did want to talk more about strollers, but I honestly want to leave that up to you. So this is the time right now. So we have like 15 minutes. Whatever you guys want to know, this is a dealer's choice. If you're like, I need to know about this, I need to know about this, this is the time to ask me, because like I said, I did not have time to include every single thing in there. So just know that for real, I want to make sure that we have this for you. So I'm going to keep these up. Know that these are all the discounts that are currently available to us. We have a whole wide range of discounts that are just for twin families. If you go to twiniversity.com/multiple birth discounts, you'll see that we have a ton of stuff there. And then finally, I wanted to tell you about this too, because I almost forgot that I had another one. Just like every other company under the sun, we have a Black Friday sale. So what we're doing right now is that if you buy the breastfeeding twins class, which by the way, should be covered by your insurance, holla. And if you need a super bill so that you could submit it to your insurance, feel free and let us know. But we currently are I don't want to say we're the only twin specific lactation class that's available online. I will definitely tell you, hands down, we are definitely the best and most inclusive lactation class. I cannot speak for other companies, but I will tell you, with 15 years of experience under our belt, we've been around the block a few times, and we give you just what you need, just like this class. Like, just come in, take the information you need, and get out. We're not like, hey, stay for 700,000 hours. I mean, you can hang out with me for 700,000 hours. I'd love that. But I know that we all have lives and we have things to do. So for our Black Friday sale, we are doing the Buy the Breastfeeding Twins class, and you get the breastfeeding handbook, so our twins breastfeeding handbook for free, and the delivery day mini class for free. So both of those, it's $108 off. And this way you literally could pretty much have the delivery day class, the workbook, and the breastfeeding class for nothing, as long as you're willing to submit the paperwork to your insurance. Beat that with a bat. So you could scan that right there, and that will bring you directly to our sale. Okay, so now I'm going to go look in the questions that we had. So the questions that we had, the first one that came up is about car seats. So which car seat and which one is going to be best? Hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to just go to my giant camera. Here I am. You get to see that was probably the cleaner spot. I probably should have put the slide on this side where the mess is and left you just thinking that my office was nice and clean. So when it comes to car seats, there are quite a few, way too many car seats on the market. The very first thing that you guys have to do is you have to measure the width of your car. Because it's great. You may find like, oh my God, I got the best car seat. This is the car seat that we're going to settle on. It may not fit with an adult in the back as well. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to measure the width of your car and consider the width of the car seats that you're getting. Then the next thing that you have to consider are you starting out with an infant car seat, or are you going right for the convertible car seat? So if you are only buying one set of car seats, so nobody else, we don't have to put these kids in any other cars, then consider starting out with the infant car seats, because truthfully, the ease of using that is just great. So the infant car seats, maybe I could just share my screen with you guys so we can look at that. Okay, hold on. Let me go to Amazon. Okay, don't judge me. If I share my screen, I don't want you to tell me, oh my God, how do you have so many messages you didn't answer? Oh, you got 19 things in your cart. Okay, do you promise me you will not judge me? Okay. Pinky, promise me. I want to see pinkies. I'm not messing around, kids. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. So if I'm going to share my screen, I'm going to go right to Safari. So here we are. So let's put in car seats. And I'm just going here because it is the most diverse. So when you're looking for the infant car seats, look, it's not even going to give it. Here's the infant car seat. So you see my little mousy button? So the infant car seats are the car seats that the kiddos will actually sit in, and it will snap into this base. You do not need to snap it into the base. You could use every car seat that is made within the United States and Canada without the base. So you should learn how to use that, by the way. So please, I beg you, do not be like those families that are installing their car seats in the driveway of the hospital. I have seen that way too many times. But if you get an infant car seat, basically what's happening is that if the kiddos fall asleep in the car, I could just take the car seat and bring it into the house. All right. But if you're going to use an infant car seat, and really any car seat, you could only use the car seat with the products that came in the box. Okay. So here, we'll just go to Graco for funsies. If it did not come with this car seat, you cannot use it. So anything that is purchased outside of within this box is considered an aftermarket product. That product was not crash tested. So if it isn't crash tested, guys, we can't use it. I can't say that's safe to use, right? A lot of people put like liners at the bottom. So if the babies poop or pee, it doesn't get all over the place. You can't do that. You have to just let them poop or pee, and you have to look for a car seat that has a washable cover. That is significantly more important. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted you to see, I'm going to try to look for one of the items. There is something called a threaded and a no rethread harness. Here, I'm just going to go put in a no. I know that the car seat lady has something. No rethread harness. Okay, so if I put in here, this is what I want to see. I knew she had it. So here's her pictures. So there's two different types of car seats. So this is both convertible and infant. The rethread has little notches up the back. So as your babies grow, you literally have to take the straps out of the back, and you have to move the straps up so that they are always at or below your children's shoulder when you're rear facing. Okay, it's at or above when you're forward facing, but now we're just talking about rear facing. Then the no rethread is basically that there's a tab at the top of where the head, kind of the headrest is, that you raise and lower, that will raise and lower the shoulder straps. So you want to look at that. Now, if it doesn't bother you and you're like, oh, we're not afraid, we could do the rethread, you will save a lot of money if you get the rethreaded car seats. That's like one way you could secretly save probably $100 off each car seat. That little feature of the no rethread bounces the price of car seats up ridiculously. So know that if you're willing and you need to save some bucks, this is definitely one of the ways to do it. Now, let's go back to Amazon for a second. If you are going to extended fit 2 convertible, Amanda, I feel like Amanda knows just as much about car seats after all these shows that we've been to. So now, if you're going to get a second set of car seats, right? Let's say your mom's going to watch the babies a lot, or you want to have a set for your partner's car, then consider one of the car seats that grow with the baby. To be honest with you, I got to tell you the truth. If I'm going to choose, I would choose the Britax one, if I'm going to do an all-in-one. So this is one for life. So basically it starts at 5 pounds and goes to 120 pounds. You will never need to buy another car seat, but it is really not very practical in the beginning because we like the ease of taking them out in their little tiny vessels in and out. But if you're going to get 2 sets of car seats or register for 2 sets of car seats, then you register for one of the infant sets and you register for one of the one for life sets. Okay. How do we feel about that? Do we have like a little basis of a car seat kind of understanding? I just want to make sure that you guys feel good about that. All right. So now the next question, blah, blah, blah. We got car seats carriers. Depending on how big your babies are, I would look at a structured carrier, definitely. So you could look at like Ergo makes a really, really, really great structured carrier. So does Baby Bjorn. The Baby Bjorn Mini is like legit awesome and super duper easy to use, but also consider getting a wrap. So you could get like the Solly wrap or the Moby wrap. I actually have one upstairs and I literally shit you not. We use it for my daughter's cat. Please, once again, I told you not to judge me. I don't feel like being judged today, but this stupid little jerky kitten gets into so much trouble. And because I am the queen of baby products, I of course had a wrap in my house and threw this little kitten in a wrap and that's it. We basically could baby kitten wear this cat 24/7 if he wanted to. He loves it in there. So I know it's really not difficult to put it on. If I'm willing to put it on for a kitten, it's very, very, very simple. So you may want to consider getting a wrap because it does not need to start at the same weight as that structured carrier. So this weekend when I was at Ryan's, they had 2 wraps. They had a Moby wrap, and I don't remember, I think like a no-name brand wrap. But I showed them how to use the Moby wrap, and it was a game changer. Her husband was like, why haven't we been using this? And I'm like, because you just didn't know to take it out of the box yet. But from the womb, as long as the wrap that you're buying and you're using it appropriately and everything is good and the baby has no respiratory issues, no issues with their spine or anything, you could put that baby in a wrap and you could just wear that. Oh, I have another product I want to show you. Oh, kids. See, I told you this class could be 700,000 years. SAPLA. Here we go. This is it. These are the next people that I want to get to be our partner. If you're ever wondering, Amanda, add this to our list because I really would love them. So nobody knows about this company. Okay. It's literally the only FDA approved baby carrier in the United States. And look, ask us about insurance reimbursement. What's that? So it's saplacord.com, Control C. I will literally put it in the chat myself, Control V. Okay, once again, a mom invention. That's how we roll here. But the Saplacord, it's kind of like a hybrid baby wrap carrier. So it's made to be worn into the OR. And this is why it's FDA approved. So the nurse that made this was really, she unfortunately witnessed a baby being dropped in the OR post-delivery. Okay. Of course, is this something that standardly happens in the US? No, it's not. But is it something that if you saw it, it's going to change the trajectory of your life? Yeah, I could see that happening. So not only did she make this, right? And this is why you don't see it. You're not going to find it on Amazon. It's very, very difficult to find, but it is the only neonate transport that we have in the United States. So if you had a teeny tiny little baby that did not need to have oxygen or whatever and could be transported from one place to the next, this could be worn in an ambulance, and mama bear or papa bear could get strapped into the ambulance and the baby could be totally safe. Okay, so you buy this based on your bra size. So you know how like you would be like a 38B or whatever it is. It's the 38. That's going to be the size that you buy for that. So here, you could even see the Aegis wrap. But this, honestly, it's legit fantastic. Here's the different sizes that you have. I'm going to reach back out to her because we used to have a coupon code for this. But for realsies, I even think she has a set of twins in this. Nope, I guess she doesn't. But you can. We have had parents that have had both their teeny tiny twinnies in this in the hospital. So know that there's that too. I forgot. I digress. I'm sorry. I talk about products that I want to make sure you have. Okay. So now the next question. So I'll try to get to two more. So the next question that we had is baby bouncers. So you don't necessarily need a baby bouncer if you're going to get the table for two, because the baby bouncer is kind of going to be used for that at the same weight limits that the bouncers would be used. But the baby bouncers are great. Let's say you have literally no floor space and you could only get one baby bouncer, then the table for two might be too big for you. So consider that. So we know right now that the best ones that are out there, really the Baby Bjorn one, once again, that's an expensive product, but hands down worth it. So the Baby Bjorn is the bouncer that I would look at first. And then the second one I would look at is the Ergo. But those are great. They're good positioners. They're good entertainers. They're good security. So they're not bad to have. But that's another something that I would look for secondhand. So I don't think you need to buy those items. No, I think you could totally get a secondhand bouncer. As far as breastfeeding pillows go, you could look at the My Breast Friend as well as the Twin-Z. Weirdly, I will tell you, they are very different. If you have a very long torso, then you're probably going to want to go with the My Breast Friend because it is foam filled. So it's a structured pillow, whereas the Twin-Z is fiber filled. So it's mushier. So depending on how much space you have from where your nips are when you're wearing a bra to where your lap is, that I would be the judge of which breastfeeding pillow you get. So know that the My Breast Friend, it's a very solid pillow, but it's great for 20s. But if you don't have a lot of torso space, it might not work. And then the Twin-Z is a great pillow to use if you let's say you have very little torso space, you could smush it because it's fiber filled and you'll have more space. So they're a little bit different. And then the last question that we will get to, they're wondering, so Brooke was wondering about the double swivel halo and if mattresses really need to be fire retardant free. Yes. Mattresses do need to be fire retardant. That's something my grandmother didn't have that probably would have loved to have because that's when they started with the fire retardants back in those days. So yeah, if you're going to get a twin bassinet, you could look at the halo, but don't sleep here. I'll show you another one. Like, honestly, that's why when me and Amanda were putting together this class, I was like, I don't know how the heck I'm going to fit all this stuff in. So now it's only available at Walmart. Okay. And it is the Delta Twin. Come on now. Bassinet. There we go. Okay. So it is only sold at Walmart. 109 smackaroonies. Bam. It's great. Amanda, could you grab the YouTube video of this one and pop it in there? But this is fan-freaking-tastic. So I would do this over the Halo any day because just for shits and giggles, let's see how much the Halo is. Halo Twin Bassinet. Do they even sell it? Okay, so here's the twin one. Okay, we're looking at $484 versus 109. I will honestly, in the bottom of my heart, tell you, don't ever spend $500 on something that somebody's going to sleep in for 4 months. That's crazy. That's $100 a month. Literally, you could send me $50 a month and I'll just talk you down from the ledge every time you try to spend money and you'll still be saving money. This is fantastic. And another reason why I love it is because it folds like this. So when you're not using it, let's say you're going to put it in the basement or you want to go up and down the stairs or you want to have one upstairs or downstairs, I could buy two. I could have two of these, one for upstairs and one for downstairs. And I don't have to worry about the halo. Like, I like Halo. They make some good stuff, but that is a company that is trying to take advantage of twin families, and I have no other nice way of saying that. I would like to say, and this is why you will see that we only work with some companies. If you look historically, we have never worked with Halo. And it's because I can't recommend a product to you for $500 that's going to cost you $100 a month. You might as well get a Snoo at that point. Like if we're going to spend money like that, it's crazy town. But this guy right here, it's only available at Walmart. It's normally $124. That's the regular price. Right now it's $109. I would be buying friggin' 2 of these right this second. I have had this in my living room. I have tried to break this. I have tried to bust through the cardboard. I have tried to dump water all over it to see if I could get it to kind of disintegrate. I put this when we buy products at Twiniversity, like companies don't send them. When we buy products, I try to wreck it. Like you can't believe, to see how it will hold up in your reality. All right. All right, guys. We went over a lot of stuff. But wait, we had one more question about pack and play. So Amanda's telling us, if Amanda puts in a question, I listen to her first and foremost. So feel free to text Amanda if you want to get a question in, because she's my, apparently she makes the rules today, but she's right. Because you should hear another product, because this is another one of our favorites. If everybody's like, Nat, why do you play with those people? I'll show you why we play with those people. Here, let me share again. Let me go to Baby Trend. Okay. All right. By the way, Baby Trend currently is the only company that has a twins tab on their website. And guess why? Holla. Okay. So this is what we do. And this is a company that's so responsive to us. This little snooze center is what Ryan had that I was playing with this weekend. They are so amazing. So amazing. $179. She has this in her living room, and she had a bassinet, and she had cribs. I was like, did I teach you nothing, girl? Have you listened to nothing that I've said to you? Why in your apartment? She was in her apartment. It's not like she's like, oh, in the West Wing, we're going to put the nursery center. And then in the East Wing by the billiard room, we'll put the Halo. Like, no. So the reason why I love this is because this is 2 independent sleeping surfaces that turn, like literally, I would take it out of the pack and play and I would put it on the floor, and you see these little guys at the bottom. You lift those little feet up, and then it becomes like a rocking chair. So when she went to sleep and I was flying solo with the babies, and one baby was having a little bit of a nervous breakdown. Okay. I was like, calm down, stop being so dramatic. I put this baby in there. I rocked one baby with my foot while the other baby was in my arms, and we were totally, totally fine. Like, guys, Baby Trend is the jam. And they have this little thing. They didn't even use it yet. So it has a little vibration action. It's got a little light on it. It plays some Tweety music. It's got some white noise. So it comes with this whole thing. And then when you're ready, it turns into a regular old school pack and play that you see that could fit, literally you could take it when on an airplane. It doesn't matter. Okay. But this guy, the reason why we prefer this is these little seats. Where are my little seats? Here it is. It's just great. And also, when you're buying anything that your babies are going to sleep in, this is the gold standard. Do you see that the way the side is? There is no material. It goes right from the hard surface to the mesh. So if you're going to buy something, you have to go from hard surface to mesh. You cannot have any material in the space. God forbid your babies decide to roll over. And yes, these babies were 6 days old, and she was already half rolling over. Now, she's not really rolling over. It's just the way her body momentum was going. She wasn't like, let me roll over. But they can move. They are tiny little potatoes, but they can move. So when you're looking at pack and plays, hands down, definitely take a look at Baby Trend and make sure that you're getting a pack and play that is specifically made for 2. All right. How do we feel about this whole registry experience? Do you feel that, who is more overwhelmed? Because I'm scared. Is anybody more overwhelmed than when you joined me today? And is anybody saying to themselves, I did everything wrong? I have all the wrong shit on my registry, and now I don't know what I'm going to do. Listen, it's only too late if you don't start now. That's it. We can only do better when we know better. How many more of these sayings in a fortune cookie do you want me to pull out? Because that's basically where I learned them from. But don't get overwhelmed. Remember, if your grandmother didn't have it, you odds are don't need it. The stuff that you're buying is to make life more convenient for you. The only thing that you really need is you need a safe place for them to sleep and some way to get food into them, be it your boobs or bottle. That's all that you need, right? If you had to use newspaper to gather their duty and pee-pee, we could manage. Like, right? Like we could do with very, very little. So don't get nervous, but just take a look at everything that's on our recommendations, right, in the gear guide, which you guys all have access to. Don't get stressed. And if you have any questions, you could literally just email us at community@Twiniversity. Amanda checks it 12 times a day. I check it 15 times a day. The other team members check it probably more. And interestingly, because we're the best, we have Twiniversity team members in every time zone. So even odds are, even if you message us at night, we're going to see it. Like it may not even be like, oh, we'll get back to you in 24 hours. Usually we get back to everybody pretty quick. Or you could slide into any DM that we have on, well, don't go to TikTok. I'm really not a fan of TikTok. I don't know why. The algorithm's weird. It just shuts me down and it's too much work. But Insta, slide in. Facebook, slide in. Pinterest, slide in. We will find any messages that you send us there really, really easily. So there's always a way to find us. And also know, I will tell you, the Zoom ID is my cell phone number. That's not a joke. You guys all have my cell phone number right now. It's literally my cell phone number. It's not like a Twiniversity cell phone number. I only have one cell phone number. So if you're in a jam and you're in a store and you're like, oh shit, how do I get, like, I want to find out about this now, text me. If I'm not with a client or if I'm not helping Ryan's Twinnies or if I'm not playing Monopoly with my own kiddos, I will get back to you. So typically, and we don't have business hours either. So sometimes at 10 o'clock, we're fine. And also no, my cell phone goes off at 10 p.m., goes back on at 6. So if you have a question at 2 o'clock in the morning, text me. That's not crazy because I'm not going to see it anyway and you're not waking me up. Okay. So just know we seriously are here for you all the time. I really do highly, highly, highly recommend that you take that twins breastfeeding class. I'll try to put that back up so that you have that if you didn't grab it. There it is. But I strongly recommend that you take that, because everybody thinks it's going to be easy. And I'm telling you, it's not difficult. It's just complicated. So complicated doesn't always have to be negative. It just is like, there's a lot of logistics with breastfeeding twins. So even if you're planning on breastfeeding just the first week, take the class, like for real. And also make sure that you join us for all of our free classes. So we have Twins Delivery Day Boot Camp that we have coming up. We have Boob Camp coming up. And we have something called Twin Sleep School. That hasn't launched yet. So you guys are the first to know. So keep an eye out for that. But we're trying to make it so that you guys could kind of lunch and learn with us and just really get the information you need when you need it. So we will always be here. I promise you. If you need anything, call me, call Amanda, message Twiniversity. And until next time, guys, I'm going to go back to my reality. I'm actually taking my dog to go get a bath. That's the truth, Amanda. She smells like hot garbage and it's Thanksgiving soon. And I don't feel like being judged by my mother-in-law about how long her nails are because we can't cut them because she pretends that we're boiling her in acid when we try to cut her little dog toenails. It's not worth it. So I'm going to take her and pay the $17 for somebody else to be tortured by her. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So know that that's where I'll be for the rest of the day. But if you need anything, message us. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining us. We will be sending you guys a survey. So I would love, really, really love your feedback because we want to make sure that this class is not just good for you guys, but for everybody else that comes through our doors. Because our goal is to make sure that you guys feel connected, that you feel solid and you're ready for this. But me and Amanda will tell you, our tweenies are big. My tweenies are going to be 20 next month. I know. And you're like, oh my God, how's that possible? She must have had them when she was 11. I did. It was very weird. It was an anomaly in New York State. Look at me in the tabloids. That's how that happened. But my kiddos are both alive. They're really, really, really functioning. Do you know what my daughter is doing today? Amanda, I couldn't wait to tell you. This is a true story. My daughter is literally an extra in the next Happy Gilmore movie. There you go. That's what my kids are doing today because she's very poor because she's 20. She's going to be 20 and she has no money to pay her electric bill. And I am not that mom. I'm sorry. I work very hard for my money. She ain't getting it at this age. You better learn how to hustle too, woman. So that girl is an extra. And I literally think like she's like scrappy teen number 6 on a bus in Newark Airport. So the fact that she texts me and she's like, Mom, I'm going into hair and makeup. And I'm like, you need to shut it down, first of all, because that is not your reality. And I'm dying to see what they did to her. If you guys don't know what my kids look like, I'm Nat's Real World on Instagram. You could see my real kids there. I don't put a lot of pictures of them up, but feel free to follow me. I'll get you guys. But my daughter has an interesting look. She also has 1,000 holes in her face. So she's got like double nose piercings and one in the middle, and she just did her lip. So I'm like, girl, like, I don't know how she drinks without like everything falling out of her face. So scrappy team number 6 on the bus, a Happy Gilmore. You'll see my crazy ginger, and that'll be my child. So that's what she's doing today. That's kind of fun, but that's my kids. So that's it. All right, kids, you got the whole thing. I'm stopping recording right now.